Hey guys, we're back again here at CrossFit Garage, and I am your host, Andy McCann. Hopefully you guys are enjoying these and learning something, and either for yourself or able to give it to somebody else. But you know what we're trying to do here? We're trying to build a strong foundation for life through farming, fitness, and finances. And my guests are you're a guest, sure. Our member today, Charity, who is also the guest on the show, not only is doing CrossFit, but has recently gotten into chickens, and so we're going to talk about some of that. So you guys are going to have some good information about health and fitness. There's some topics we're going to talk about counseling and how to have your own eggs someday, one day, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So, Charity, let's start with this. Tell us a little bit about your health and fitness background, like getting up to this point. So you're here now, and what were you like before, and what were you doing?
Yeah. So prior to joining CrossFit, I honestly hated going to the gym. Never went.
Oh, well, that's awesome. Yeah.
I usually prefer to do like hiking, biking, like just other like things that seem more exciting to me.
Sure, outdoorsy.
Yeah, but I mean, it was cold at the time. Like, I can't really go out and do those things. And I wanted to see like more results in my body. My husband and I wanted to grow our family soon, and I wanted my body to be in the best shape possible. And so I was like, what's something creative that I could do that might be different, might be fun, but I can also see results relatively quickly.
Sure.
And so we were driving by, and I was like, oh, there's a CrossFit over there. We should check it out.
That's awesome. So you were driving on 92 and saw the sign, or saw the sign above the door. Yeah, yeah.
I was like, oh, I wonder if we should try that.
Yeah.
And I filled out a thing, but we were like, I don't want to do CrossFit. They're usually like
crazy people.
We don't want to do that. But you guys kept texting, and I was like, oh, these automated messages. But then you sent a personalized video.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I was like, huh.
Yeah, so that's interesting. You'd be one of the few people. Yeah, so it is interesting. It's hard in this world where like it's easy to reach into the business. There's a form you fill out and it hits us, right? And so we're going to get like 30 to 40 leads a month.
Yeah.
And like, okay, to try to track those down with purposeful intention is tough if you do it all manual. So what we do is like the very first one, we even tell people, hey, this is automated, your inner system, like thumbs up, you've checked the box, we've got you, right?
Yeah.
And we tell them it's an automated message. And then Jamie usually texts out next, and people still think it's automated, but she's actually like, so she gets a reminder in our system, hey, Charity's a new lead, one day in, make sure you text her, right? And she's like, hey, Charity, what's up? So some people think those are automated. Now, later on, it does have some, so we'll do like a couple real live people, then a couple automated. So anyway, eventually when someone hits about the 21-day mark, if Jamie wasn't able to connect, it goes to me. And then I make a video, and it's only because Olivia, my oldest daughter, she's like, Dad, nobody does phone calls anymore. I'm like, okay, whatever, I won't phone call, I'll text. She's like, Dad, nobody texts anymore, they do video. So I'm like, okay,
it worked.
Let me try that. And so for years, probably 2 years now, I've been like, Charity, hey, this is Andy McCann from CrossFit Garage. And so that's awesome. So you saw that and thought, personal touch, we should probably do something.
Yeah, like he seemed like a normal person.
You're the first person to say that to me too. Thank you very much. So it's weird and tough in this business. And I know you have a virtual business, and sometimes it's hard to connect, right? Even virtually. So you're trying to reach out and find everybody, but you don't know like who was serious and who just filled it out, and who like sometimes we get like Tom Sawyer. And you're like, okay, so it's probably not really a person that wanted like to talk to us. They just wanted some information of some sort. But okay, so that's interesting. So you put your name in there. So I must have been like a month later. I'm like, hey, and you're like, what the heck? I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
So what was that like? So some people say, actually, for 15 years, people have said CrossFit are crazy people, and it's super hard and intimidating. I can never do it. Are those true, or is that just what people think?
I think that this particular gym is special.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
So you're right. There are some gyms that are still actually doing CrossFit the old scary way, which is like, everyone get in here, work out as hard as you can to throw up. You're like, why would you do that to people? That sounds like such a bad business model. But we did do that for like 5 years. It was just, that's what CrossFit was like. Yeah. I'm super embarrassed about those days. Okay, so you find the gym, and actually, let's fast forward. So you've been doing this for how long now?
Since December.
Oh, wow. So that's 6 months.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So what is something that you have, like, what tip, trick, idea, whatever, would you give to anybody out there thinking, I need a tip or something for my health and fitness? What would you tell them? Anything that you've seen or done that you've added to your daily life?
Well, I've learned recently that I'm not drinking enough water.
Are you doing a nutrition challenge?
I just finished it.
Okay.
And I'm not drinking nearly enough water as my body needs.
Yes.
So
I would say
water.
99% of the people fall into that category and we don't even know it.
Yeah.
So what are you doing to fix that?
Well, now I just carry my water bottle wherever I go. I used to just didn't do. I wasn't even thinking about water.
That's right.
I think about coffee.
Yeah. So they now they're saying they used to tell you that coffee was a diuretic and it would dehydrate you, and now they're like, maybe we're wrong. Maybe there is some hydration qualities to it. So the studies are out. But if you just carry water with you,
you're more likely to drink it.
Right? And it's not even that hard of a habit to have. You're like, why didn't I do that?
Wasn't thirsty enough.
Yeah. Well, and so sometimes, yes, and that's an interesting one. I learned working with Laura one time that sometimes the cue for thirst, you think you're hungry, but you're really just thirsty. So it's like, do something. You're like, should I eat? And you're really just needing something to drink.
Yeah.
Yeah. So any noticeable different from drinking besides probably going to the bathroom a lot more, but
go to the bathroom a lot more. I feel like I have a little bit more energy.
Yeah. Well, your body is like 80, 90%, whatever it is, a massive percent of water. Yeah. And even those scales we use, the biometric scale, when you hold on to it, it's actually using the water or impedance in your body. So if you're under hydrated, the numbers can be off.
Wow.
So yeah. Okay. So that's good. So I think that's a great tip for anybody listening. Drink more water. And if you think you drink a lot of water, log it.
You probably need a little more.
Yeah. And how did you know? Were you logging how much?
I started logging, and I realized there are days when I only drink the water that I would drink during the workout.
Really?
And just I get busy. I start working, and I just go through the day.
Interesting.
And
so
I'm
it never even.
Not
Yeah. No, that's probably not good. So we do something called habit stacking, which helps with those like water drinking habits. So this isn't a good water example because it has nothing to do with water.
Drink some water right now?
Yeah, do it. Yeah. So when people will stack the habit of flossing and then brushing teeth, right? Because you're going to be there brushing your teeth anyway. I might as well floss. So the other day I was talking to Laura and she said her and one of her clients came up with to drink more water. I'll have it in my car when I hit a red light. I will drink water.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So you just stack like the things that you would normally do anyway. If I'm in a pause moment, I can drink water or whatever. So I found myself, I was grabbing some bad snacks after working out. So instead I started using those little Justine almond butter packs or Justin's or whatever it is. And I would just keep them with me. And then I'm like, ooh, I'm a little hungry. And I could just eat one of those.
Cool.
And then the urge to eat stupid stuff goes away. What else did you learn in the nutrition challenge?
That I need more protein. Mm-hmm. Like I have been working out and I saw the scale change, but then when we did the biometrics thing, I learned that I lost muscle.
Yes. Oh, interesting.
So Laura was telling me
eat some more protein.
Get some more protein in your diet. And I saw a video of you putting an egg in your smoothie.
Yes.
I was like, I'll try that.
So nobody in my house will do it. I'm the only one. So okay,
I didn't notice a taste change.
No, it doesn't.
I noticed no change. It's the idea that there is a cracked egg in my smoothie.
No, it's just the white and the yolk. So we don't put shells in there. So we're not crazy, right? Right? Sometimes I actually do get some shell in there. But so let's segue again. So you were doing something that I find fascinating. You've gone down the road of I'm going to make my own eggs.
Yeah.
And so you bought chickens. Mm-hmm. Did you get them from Tractor Supply or?
We got 4 from Tractor Supply and 2 from a farm in McKaysville.
Oh, I like that. Where's that one? I haven't.
Yeah, I think it's just a family farm.
Okay.
That they are obsessed with chickens.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I'm always interested in getting different roosters. Mm-hmm. So I have a different genetic opportunity. I don't know how animal husbandry really works, but usually on our our place, backyard. It's survival of the fittest. So most of the roosters die off pretty quick defending. And so I don't know which came from which, but if I can get new roosters, then I can keep reproducing. So we have a lot of, what is it? I think I've worked it out. If we have 100 chicks that we've hatched, 10 of them will make it.
Really?
Yeah, so Mother Nature is a 90% taker of all of our product. Well, not product, but the chickens. But right now we saw a hawk swoop in and grab a month-old chick, or it's not a chick anymore. I guess it's a small chicken.
Yeah.
But they don't start laying eggs until they're 6 or 7 months old.
Right.
And so I was like, well, you just saved my layer by having, I guess, bait. But I don't know. It's kind of a sad thing. But you can't shoot them. You can't shoot the hawks. Mm. And they fly through the nets. And they don't care about the shiny stuff. They don't care about crows. They don't even care if you're there. They're just going to attack. I even have cameras up, and I can't stop the hawks and owls, they just go crazy. So
do you have like an open yard?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so they free range. So if anybody out there wants like totally fresh free range eggs that the chickens only eat insects pretty much, that's us. So if you don't want any chemicals in your chickens at all or your eggs, it's really, really hard to keep them alive. So I can see why they do like those pull tractors.
Yeah.
I just don't have the time to pull that every day. But
yeah.
So what do you guys? So you guys are building a coop for yours right now?
It's finished.
Oh, it is.
They have spent a couple nights in their coop so far.
Yeah.
And they love it.
Yeah.
It's painted. It has like red and turquoise. It's super cute. I'm
gonna
send you a picture.
Yeah, definitely. I love to see this stuff. Do they get to go out, or are they in the coop?
So they're in the coop right now. We're going to still build them a run, but we let them out in the yard when we're out there. Our backyard is kind of like shaded, so we're hoping that helps keep the hawks at bay.
That totally will. Yeah, they won't be able to. I mean, they're visually right, but they do. Hawks, or at least bald eagles, will fly in a 50 mile radius circle. So. They fly. I mean, they're in the air, so roads aren't a big deal. So they just go wherever they want to go. They just, The bad thing is, it feels like once they find you, they tell your friends, and they're like, "Hey guys, the McCann buffet is over here." I'm like, "It's not a buffet; it's a farm." Dang it. So
stop eating my chickens.
What's that?
I said, "Stop eating my chickens."
Exactly. And the coyotes, I haven't seen them lately, but they usually come around 2 a.m. and I'm just not awake. So, and if somebody doesn't make it into the coop. They go to sleep outside.
Oh no!
They're gonna die. Yeah, we try to find them, but they hide good. So, yeah. So, you had a funny story where you had the chicks in the bucket.
Yes.
And they're like, "What do I do now?" They're hopping out. That happened to me. So, yeah, what happened there?
So they were hopping out all the time. So we had these itty bitty babies figured out how to hop out. They were the main ones. And so,
how old were they? Were they like a week?
Like 3 weeks old. They were not old enough to be hopping out.
Yeah. Well, apparently they are.
And so we ended up like making their space a little bit bigger. We like put up a little wall.
Oh, that's a smart idea.
For them. But eventually
they could jump over that.
They just jumped over that, started flying over that.
Yeah.
And so we were like, "Hey, we got to get this coop built."
Yeah.
They were getting evicted.
So
we evicted them.
You learn, yes, right. You learn these things, which I feel like I should make another video about this, but what they tell you isn't maybe necessarily exactly true. It's like general true. It's like the most thing. Like most of the time, most of the chickens mostly work this way.
Yeah.
But I found the same thing. I was like, I'll keep them in this little like box until they get feathers a month old or something. And now I take them they get one night.
Are you serious?
In the inside with the lamp and all that, and then I take them to our outside coop, which we have a lamp on. I'm like, yeah, go for it. And they just,
my goodness.
Yeah, and so you get a little bit more like they'll make it.
Yeah.
Because when they jump out and they're running around your basement, or in your case, they're in your garage.
Yeah.
That is not fun.
No.
And you try to catch them, and you realize they're fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to keep catching them. You have to keep cleaning up after them.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Did you know that some people bring their chickens into their house?
I did.
And they put Pampers.
Pets.
Yeah, they put little diapers on them. I'm like, what are you guys? I guess if they had a diaper, that isn't too bad. But they're outside walking in. I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess dogs do that.
Our chickens are going to be outside chickens for sure.
So the run will be good. That'll keep most everything off of them if they can kind of go around. A game changer for us, and this isn't even the topic I was going to go into, but whatever. It's tangent Andy, right? So someone introduced us into the automatic door.
Yeah.
And so we got this omelet door that basically I just cut a hole in the coop and then slapped it right on, and it's got a light sensor. And I'm like, they let themselves out and let themselves in. This is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to do the same thing.
Yeah, so that's good stuff. So if you do the omelet, when you buy it for like $10 extra, you can buy the light that goes above their door. And what it does is, you're like, I don't need that. It's worth it. So it'll cue the chickens. It'll teach them that when the sun's going down, they kind of know it and they want to go to bed anyway, but the light comes on. And their eyesight, I guess, gets bad as it gets darker. And so they have a hard time finding the door sometime. So that light gives them a beacon to get into the door. Yeah, so
that's a good idea.
I went back and bought lights for the 3 that we've got. So instead of being $10, I think they were like $30 because I didn't buy them at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's good to know. I'll take note of that.
It was worth it. So the other weird one is when they jump up, they will sometimes leave stuff in the track, and the door thinks that track is them, and it'll bounce. Oh. So you kind of have to run your finger through the track every once in a while just to get
The crud or whatever.
Yeah, whatever they put there. I don't know what they do in there. But okay, so you guys have chickens, and you said they're about a month old.
They're 6 weeks.
6 weeks old now.
Yeah.
So that means you've got like maybe 4 months before you get some eggs.
Yeah.
Very cool. And you're going to drop them into your smoothie?
I don't know if I'll keep doing that. That was just one thing I was trying.
It's a great way to get extra protein.
It is.
So I use 2, and I'll drop them, like just wash the... So you might not know this. You can leave eggs out for like 3 months.
Really?
And they're fine. Yeah. So when they come out of a chicken, they have an airtight coating on them. And yeah, you can just leave them out. Like if you ever watch one of those old black and white shows, like Leave It to Beaver or Mr. Ed or whatever, they always have like a thing of eggs on the table. And you're like, why would they do that? So it's because they're not washed. So if you wash them or scrub them, you'll take that coating off, and now they're susceptible to rot.
Oh, so you have to put them in the
Put them in the refrigerator.
Gotcha.
Right. So at their store, when you buy them, of course they wash them because nobody wants poop on their eggs.
Right.
Yeah. So if you don't wash them, like we just put them in a bucket and put them underneath one of the cabinets, and then we just take them out as we need them. And I've eaten eggs that are like 2 months old.
Really?
No problem. Yeah. Huh. So you do want to wash them though, because you don't want to crack them and then get like
poop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought salmonella would be a bad thing. Like I'm going to touch these chickens, I'm going to be cleaning them, we're all going to die of salmonella. Not a problem. And my protocol for being clean has like dropped lower and lower and lower until my wife's like, you're disgusting. I'm like, it's fine. I've never gotten sick yet. So yeah, I don't know. I've never gotten sick, and I've taken like big risks. Like I have dropped eggshell into the smoothie.
Yeah.
And it's not cooked. It's just washed. And sometimes I don't even wash them, and I haven't gotten sick yet. So either I've got a steel stomach, or salmonella only works in eggs at the store.
Or both.
I don't know. Yeah, or maybe both. Yeah, I like that. CrossFit has made my stomach tight. Okay, so you got the coop. You said you have 6 of them? And do you think you'll get more, or?
We want to get 2 silkies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because they're cute.
I didn't realize it was such a thing. Like the breed of the chicken, like people go crazy about. Yeah, I'm like, people ask all the time in our videos, what kind of chickens you have? Like, I don't know. They've been bred between.
They're just chickens.
They're just a run-of-the-mill chicken. I don't know. So rooster-wise, you know if you have a rooster?
Or? We have, thinking of breeds.
Yeah.
One of our Samani chicks, we think he's a rooster.
Okay. And are you in an HOA neighborhood?
No, it's a regular neighborhood, but...
So they won't care if you have
I think our neighbors would care.
Okay. Well, if you need to get rid of it, you can give them to us, and they'll live a free life until they
get
don't.
eaten. Until they don't.
So if anybody out there has chickens and need a place to drop off a rooster, they live a decent life. I just can't promise they will live a very long life.
But it helps diversify your
It does. So they'll
population.
breed. And so I tried a new trick someone told me about. We have an incubator, and it'll incubate 40 eggs at once. And so this time what I did is I stood the eggs up rather than laying them down, and I overloaded it. And to see because not all the eggs are fertilized.
Yeah.
So then I went and candled them recently, and I think of I probably had like 50 to 60 eggs in there, and like 20 of them were not fertilized, so they weren't going to hatch anyway.
Yeah.
Right. So now I've got almost 40 in there, and I think they're all fertilized. Yeah, I'll get 40 chickens out of this time. Yeah. So of course they won't last very long, but okay. So an interesting. So I guess we tangented away off of it, but an interesting thing that I like about this whole CrossFit environment, the community and stuff, is people do interesting things.
Yeah.
You're like, I'll give that a shot. I mean, I'm not into cupping or dry needling, but people do it. Chickens, you want to grow your own food and have like the ultimate protein hack?
It's been fun so far.
Yeah, it is kind of neat. Some people really get into it. Like my kids named them until they realize that they don't last very long.
Yeah.
So they're like, I got to quit naming them because they die. Okay, so you came to the gym, you signed up and said, hey, I'll check this out. Eventually, you came in here and you probably met with Jamie. And so we do a no sweat intro. No sweat intro. The pun is intended. You're not going to sweat. And it's easy. We just talk about you. So how did that conversation go?
I thought it was great.
Yeah?
Yeah, she was nice and friendly.
Yeah.
Didn't feel intimidating.
And then you got into, then we start everybody off with, usually start everyone off with 5 sessions. We do an on-ramp or foundations to get you acclimated enough to get to know you. So it's a one-on-one for 30 minutes. How'd that go?
We
do those like 30-minute sessions, so you'll come in with just Jamie by yourself.
That was actually fun.
Yeah.
Well, I hated it.
Hated it, but loved it, right?
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I can probably do this.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem so bad. It made me feel that way.
That's good.
But it's also like really tiring and sweaty and more work than I had done in the last 7 years.
And so interesting, kind of like jump off of that. We tried to pare that down to do less so that people don't get blown up. And many people come in and they're like, I can totally do that. And we're like, just trust me. We're doing this for 15 years. Right?
Yeah.
So I kind of a segue out of this or tangent. We'll do a bring a friend week. And so you brought your husband Andrew in, and now he's a member here.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So hey, if you're going to sweat together, I think it is great. One thing that I have learned is don't coach your spouse. So just if you see him doing something, just say, hey, Danny, Jamie, whatever, tell him, right? I try to coach my kids and my spouse, and it doesn't help. It doesn't do too well. So just let the coaches do their thing. So that's great that he's in here sweating with you. I love that. So we'll do a bring a friend week. So he came to that. And then we'll also do, if you've ever got people that you want to like experience CrossFit, I will set up a class for just you and your mom, your dad, or your friends or whatever, just to get them to like know it. So Randy brought his mom in.
I saw that.
Yeah. And so she's like, I don't know, looks like it's going to be too easy. It was 10 minutes of, and we came up to work out together. And I said, I want you to go 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. She's like, I'm going to crush that. And like 2 minutes in or 3 minutes in, she's like, I'm glad we're doing 30 seconds because this is a little bit more intense. Like, yes, it's always a little bit more than you think it is.
Right.
Yeah. So what's something that you have learned? So you've been in class for 5 months, 6 months-ish. What have you learned about yourself, or what has this journey taught you?
Well, I've learned that I can do a lot more than I thought that I could. And I used to get really intimidated by like all the names of things, like all these different moves that I've never heard of. But I realized just like as long as I just keep coming, eventually my body will remember how to do these things. I memorize the words and what they mean and all the.
It is a cult to a degree. We have special words that we all say, and you eventually do learn them. But you can also watch people and the coaches there. But it can be a little confusing.
Yeah, and I still am like, I don't always know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
or what I'm supposed to be doing.
I feel like that sometimes too. And I've been doing this for 15 years.
And I realize that that's okay. Yeah. Just ask. Like, I don't have to come in here and be the expert.
No.
That's why these coaches are here.
That's why I have a coach. That's
and I'm a lot less anxious and a lot more relaxed.
Good.
When I'm here.
I think that would be I think as an owner of a gym and of friends that are in their 50s, I wish they could understand, like, the secret really is show up. If you show up, the coach is going to help you. Your classmates are going to help you. You can always say, what did she say? What are we doing?
I'm not getting on people's nerves when I ask the same question over and over again.
I've had people in here, like, they've been CrossFitting for like 5 years. Even my kids, they've been doing this for like 9 years. And they're like, what's the jerk again? And what's the snatch? I'm like, that's fine, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But of course, you're never as patient with your kids as you are other people. But yeah, so you can totally ask those questions and so forth. Okay. I'm going to hit you with a couple questions, just so the members can get to know you.
Yeah.
What was your first job?
My very first job was at the University of Florida.
Oh, nice.
I used to work at the O'Connell Center, which is like the basketball arena.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So.
What were you doing for them? Just like
you like the usher for like the basketball games or concerts or things like that.
So you were with the facilities and then taking care. So what was a lesson you learned from doing that type of job?
That was one where I really learned how to be prompt and on time and like.
That is something that many people don't understand. I told my soccer kids.
Yeah.
I would tell them, early is on time is late, and late is unacceptable. So. Yeah, just show up.
And I learned a lot about customer service.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I think everyone should have that type of job.
Even when people are mad at you and yelling at you, like learning how to just, like, it's not about you.
Right. Just smile.
Like, just smile, be friendly.
Yeah.
It'll carry you a long way in a job.
Many people need to learn that being kind doesn't cost anything.
Doesn't.
Just be kind.
Yeah.
So it's taken me a long time. The lesson you learned early, it took me a while that you never know what somebody's day was like.
Right.
And so you don't know what is like, just smile and nod because you don't know. They could have had something rough that day. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're just taking it out on you.
That's right. So now you've got a different type of job. You're actually into counseling. Mm-hmm. So you said you work 2 different type of counseling. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So one place where I work is Interactions Therapy Services in Marietta. And so it's a private practice where we do like social skills groups for kids. We work a lot with kids with ADHD, kids on the spectrum, kids with behavioral issues. And not just kids. I mostly see kids, but our practice sees like young adults.
Sure.
Even like 50 and 60-year-old people who have just recently been diagnosed as being on the spectrum.
Right. No, that's the thing. So I feel like back in the 80s, they didn't have any of this.
Right.
It was just like, hey, jerk. Hey, dumb A. Like, I'm like, maybe I was there, or I know I had a lot of dyslexia, so maybe I had ADHD and they didn't know that back then. And I definitely have dyslexia. And there was no help.
No.
It was just basically, I hope you figure it out.
Yeah.
So to know that there's tools like this out there is refreshing and hopeful. And I'm not mad they didn't have them before, because who knew? But they have them now. So parents, if you've got kids, or if it's you, go talk to somebody.
Yeah.
It never hurts to.
It only helps.
And you guys have tools.
Yeah.
And you're like, so there was this book I read, Stopping the Noise in My Head. And a buddy of mine gave it to me. I was like, oh, that's an interesting book. And it was about anxiety. And a lot of the tools and tactics that he suggests, I created on my own. I'm like, man, it had been so much easier if somebody would have just told me to do these things, which you guys have that. You're like, hey, in these situations,
here's what you can do. Here's how you can cope with that.
Right. So yeah, don't be afraid to go talk to somebody. Yeah, I wish more people, well, I know my generation doesn't like talking to anybody. I wish they would though.
Yeah.
But
they're getting better.
Yeah. And then you have another one, it's a little bit more virtual.
Yeah. So down in Decatur, I'm at Robbins Counseling. And so I see clients virtually. But I'm moving into seeing more young adults, a lot of women, teenage girls, like helping with like anxiety, depression, women's issues.
Yeah. That's a really big thing.
Yeah.
Having 2 teenage daughters and never gone through that myself.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. It's like getting behind the scenes in the play and you see the backstage. I'm like, I get to see what girls go through, and this is tremendously time. It's just, it involves a lot of emotion and a lot of, I wish.
People like having just another person on their team that it's all confidential. You can just talk about whatever you want to get off of your chest. And it helps. It helps. Like even I go to my own counseling. It has helped me so much.
Everybody should have a coach. I have a coach for business.
Yeah,
right?
It's like a coach for your mind.
It is. Everyone should be talking to somebody that has gone before them.
Yeah.
If you ever want to shortcut a process, well, you can go on the internet and you can read it all. You can read all these books. Everything we're going to tell people in CrossFit and counseling and everything, it's out there. Just go look it up. But if you want to shortcut the process or be guided along the journey, get a coach or a mentor. And so I usually tell people that having your family be your coach or mentor is usually not the best thing, because we're so short with each other.
Yeah.
And if you pay somebody, they will tell you what's on their mind because you're paying them to do that. Well, your family has to go like...
There's no hard feelings.
Yeah, no, that's right. And your family's like, I got to see you at like Christmas, so I can't tell you. How am I gonna shake ping pong balls out of a Kleenex box?
I have played that game.
I know, I saw you guys. I went on YouTube or Facebook. I was like, let me see some of the things she's been up to. Yeah, that was pretty funny. So I saw Andrew and the other guys do that. I was like, it looks like it should be easier than it is. That was a pretty tough game.
It was tough, yeah.
That was fun though. You guys look like you have a lot of fun. Okay, so if anybody would like to talk, how would somebody get a hold of either one of those businesses?
You can just
go online? Or?
Yeah, go online. It's Interactions Therapy Services.
And that one's in Marietta? Okay.
It's myinteractions.com.
Okay.
And then amyrobinscounseling.com.
And that one's virtual, but it's headquartered out of...
the office is down in Kirkwood.
But it doesn't matter if it's all virtual anyway. Or not all of it, but your people. Okay.
But there's some people down there that see people in
Okay,
person.
so you can see whomever you need to see. I love that. That's awesome. I do know one of my buddies was telling me that so some things work very well virtually. Talking is great. My buddy was saying there's a chiropractor in, I think it was either like it might have been like Seattle area, but he was adjusting people over the phone.
Really?
I'm like, how in the world do you do chiropractic over the phone? He's like, I don't know, but that sounds like
it's working.
Yeah, I don't know if it was. He was definitely making money. I don't know if it was working, but talking to people definitely works. It's just communication. So you said you were at the basketball facility at college. You loved to be outdoors doing hikes and adventures. Did you grow up playing sports?
I did a little bit of softball. I grew up in Miami.
Oh, okay.
Miami, Florida. And so I did a little bit of softball, but I actually wasn't very athletic.
Didn't get into that much? Yeah. And then so when you...
I did band.
No, I love... No, yeah.
That can be a sport.
It can be. It's very tiring. If I've got friends, Brad McDonald's kid, Carter, is in the band, and I've seen him do like practice. I'm like, I think you guys are practicing more than the football team. This is insane.
It's true.
How much are you... He's out there marching, and he's like, yeah. So he's actually playing for Georgia Tech now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I'm like, man, going to Georgia Tech and trying to do a sport is insane.
Not easy.
Like, he maybe take 12 hours, like the minimum loading that you can still be a full-time student, but still at Tech, that's got to be crazy. So I grew up playing all sorts of sports, and my claim to fame in CrossFit is while I may not be strong, I can do the random things really well. So like riding a unicycle and juggling, I can do that, let's do it. I'm not really strong, so if you're not a strong guy, it's okay, you can do this stuff. If you're not athletic growing up, it's okay. You can do this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I think some people get the picture that they've got to be some sort of like sports phenomenon to do CrossFit. Like, no,
That's
CrossFit is just a shortcut for fitness.
Yeah.
It is constantly very functional movements executed at high intensity. What are we doing today? I don't know, but I'm sure it's going to involve standing up and getting... Actually, we did do that. We stood up and got down. We did burpees, right? And while you may never really need to flip a tire, we were flipping tires today, right? It's just doing things that you might find in your life and being okay and good at them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't have to be like, Some people really think... I think there is something special about people who can do CrossFit. I don't know what it is, but I feel like it's maybe like you're good at long suffering. You're like, okay, whatever. It's gonna be a 12-minute workout of doing this. I can make it through it. I don't know what it is. There's probably a personality type, but there's all sorts of personalities here.
Yeah. The short workouts really helped me. It's like, I can do anything for 12 minutes.
I can do that. Yeah. And so CrossFit's kind of unique. So it's you should do a 10K run, so go out for 45 minutes and run or whatever it is, right? And you should do a 1 rep max every now and then. So the workout is just, we're going to get a deadlift, heavy deadlift, right? But mostly CrossFit is couplets and triplets. So there's 3 movements or 2 movements, and it's about 8 to 14 minutes. So usually 12. And that's because intensity tends to really fall off at that level. So we're going for intensity. So intensity is the independent variable that we see the most health adaptations. So they say, hey, you should lift heavy weights. Yes, that's good. You should be very flexible. Yes, that's gooder. That's more good, whatever. And then, but really intensity is even better in that in affecting your health overall. So anyway, so the 12-minute workout, that's actually weirdly all you need. I have an episode coming out shortly with my buddy Eddie, who we do endurance racing with.
Yeah.
So we're out doing adventure races in the woods. We're running around for 12 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. So does this work? Yes. And you don't even have 12 minutes. And he's like, yeah, it annoys me that you only work out for 12 minutes and I'll go bike for 2 hours.
Oh my
goodness. Here we are racing at the same pace. Okay, so what's something in these 6 months that you feel like you've maybe gotten back or been able to do because you've been doing CrossFit?
I sleep a lot better.
Ooh, nice one, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it because you're tired or is it?
I think like exercising in this way really helps with your mental health.
It does.
Like when I go to bed, like my head is a lot clearer.
Yeah.
My body just feels a lot more relaxed.
Yes. No, that's true.
I've gained a lot of just like confidence. Like I feel proud of myself.
Nice.
Like, I just back squat 115 whatever, which is probably not a lot compared to other people.
It's relative.
But for me,
it's where you're at. Yeah.
I was like, wow, I did that.
Yeah.
So you just feel happier.
I love the when especially ladies lift the bar up above their head, and then we're like, today's a lift and drop day, and you're going to be dropping the bar down, and they're like, really, I can drop this bar of weights? And the rubber weights and a rubber floor, so we're like, yes, for sure. And it's fun to see their eyes light up like, wow, that's fun, interesting, and I feel like it's like a confidence gainer. I can do these things. Yeah. So no, that's totally true. Have you? So one of the things that I like about this is people, like a buddy of mine said, hey, you want to go hike Blood Mountain? I'm like, yeah, sure. I feel like we can go do weird things that I don't normally do. Like, hey, do you want to help plant the garden all day? Like, yeah. So we're able to like just go and do.
Yeah.
And your fitness level is just better.
Yeah.
So have you gone for a hike and been like, this is actually weirdly easy?
Yeah, we hiked recently. I think it's Pine Mountain in
yeah,
Cartersville.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so a year ago, I did that hike, and I was like getting up at the top and just like needing to stop halfway,
That's a tall
just feeling
mountain.
exhausted. Yeah. But 2 weeks ago, it was just like whatever.
Nice. Did you go with anybody else?
I went with another friend.
And do they do CrossFit?
No.
And so was there a difference there?
There was a difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I think those are the more noticeable ones. You take your people with you to do whatever it is you normally do, and you're like, huh. So we went skiing with, it was Alan and Justin, and I had just started into CrossFit. I think Justin did too. And we went skiing all together, a little guys retreat type thing. And we're like, let's keep skiing. And our other buddy's like, wow, how are you guys doing this? We're like, what do you mean? And so we didn't notice we were getting fitter.
Yeah.
But then we went out to play. And so immediately he goes back and he starts CrossFitting, and he actually made way more gains than either of us ever did.
Wow.
So yeah, so he did. But it's fun to see that.
Yeah.
And did she ask you, what are you doing? How did no, she didn't notice. Yeah. Whatever.
No.
Yeah.
But I just remember just feeling like my lungs and everything are just functioning a lot better.
Yeah. And you can be like, I'll carry all the waters. Sure. Put them on your back and you just go.
Yeah.
So it is great. It lets you, like I tell people all the time, you need to have a sticky why with why you do this. So I like your why. You said, hey, I want to build a family. I want to be the healthiest and fittest I can possibly be now. I have a sticky why of I want to be healthy and fit enough to coach my kids' in soccer. What does that look like? I'm not entirely sure, but I think it looks like what I look like now. I'm a small guy with small, like I'm not big, small, I'm like a normal, and I can move on the field, right? So you get these pictures and these whys, you're like, I can come in every day because I have a goal.
Yeah.
If you just, like we have people call like, hey, I just want to come in and like do my own thing and whatever. Like, so look, that's not community. You're not going to meet people and you're not going to engage. So we're like, it's probably not a place for us. So we tell people we're happy, humble, helpful people who want to be healthy and fit now, as well as in our 90s. If that sounds like you, it's probably a fit. We're into coaching, mentoring, and accountability. If you want to be coached, that's why you want to pay us to coach you. If you're not into coaching, you can do all of this online. You don't even need...
Yeah, you can use YouTube videos.
Yeah, you can just, or we post our workouts on our website, so you can just follow them there, right? So having a goal like that is great. And having had kids, so we have a 2002, 2004, 6, and an 8. So my wife had just started doing CrossFit, I think, as Evie was being born. And so we saw a lot of women come through and have babies like during CrossFit, and they're like, it is weirdly a whole lot easier being fit, right? And I'm like,
that's what I've read.
It makes sense. I mean, it's an obvious statement. If I had done CrossFit, would it be easier to have kids? Yes, right? But to see it actually play out is fascinating.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think that's great. And I think the other cool thing is like you'll find people who want to eat healthy.
Yeah.
So you're going to learn things like, oh, did you know that if you did this and did that, you're like, oh, healthy hacks, right? For being, a productive whatever mom. So anyway, I think that's a great goal. And chickens are a good start, but you've got other pets too, dogs and cats.
Yeah, we've got 2 cats, a dog. I've been trying to get a 3rd cat because our kitten is like harassing our older cat.
Oh yeah.
And so I feel like that
he
needs a friend.
Yeah. So we got a Great Pyrenees, which I didn't realize they're going to be so big.
So big.
Yeah, very big. And I didn't realize how territorial. So he came in as a little puppy, and a little puppy who was pretty big still at 3 months old, and he was already trying to boss around the older dog, who's like he might be 9 or 10.
Yeah.
And so he's getting to the grumpy phase.
Uh-oh.
And so he's like, I want to play, but I also want to boss you around because I feel like I should be the alpha. Yeah, it didn't go well. He already, they had, the older dog drew blood on him, bit him.
No.
But I think it was still like I'm just warning you.
Yeah,
and so
just
now,
stop it.
At 8 months, the dog, Ollie, the Great Pyrenees, is way bigger, but he still wants to play.
Oh,
and so they're better, but Finn, who's 10-year-old lab, he's like,
Not
look,
interested.
look, dude.
Do they herd the chickens?
So right now he wants to chase them.
Oh no.
But I think it's because he's still a puppy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to give it some more time. And we take him out there and we walk him with the chickens. And we're like, do you see the chickens? He's like, yes, I see them. And you see drool coming down. So I'm like,
oh no.
If the drool's coming, he's thinking something else,
Yeah.
right? So I'm not sure what to do yet. But I do know, he is big. And coyotes are usually not big. So if we let him out at night to protect, I think he'll do a job. And if I was a coyote, I would run. So he'll probably do that job. But I don't know if I can leave him out during the daytime because I think he'll become part of the McCann buffet.
Oh, no.
Yeah, these are great. This is going to be yummy. Yeah, so anyway, I think that's probably wise. Get another cat, right? Who doesn't need more cats? Okay, so you've been in CrossFit 6 months. What would you say is a high, low, and a buffalo? So what has been a high thing for you? Like, well, this has been neat. And a low, like, I need to fix that. And then buffalo is something surprising.
I guess the high has been just getting more comfortable and actually seeing results. Like, I feel like I'm getting stronger.
Oh, yeah. And you can see, if you log the numbers, you literally can see what we're doing.
I can literally see that I'm getting stronger. And I was just looking at a picture of myself, and I was like, oh, I can tell that my waist has changed.
Yeah. And that's something we usually have to tell people is, like, it's more clothes side change than scale change.
Yeah.
Because typically, if you've done nothing, you will gain muscle, unless you don't change your eating, in which case you could eat some of it, right? But so muscle weighs more.
Yeah.
But it's the way that clothes fit. That changes usually pretty quick. Yeah.
And I've been just seeing a change in my cholesterol levels. Oh, yeah. So like my blood work is coming back better.
Yes.
So that's really been a high.
If you Google like CrossFit and blood work and CrossFit and cholesterol levels, and if you Google those words, you're going to see so many stories. I don't know, like there's always that I'm not a doctor and I'm not saying this or I'm whatever. But in my own life, I have seen some very interesting things. People getting off of medication because of the intensity. I don't know exactly what it is, but I have experimental data, people literally dropping medications because the doctor's like, I don't think you need this anymore.
Right.
Go see your doctor still. But adding some sort of fitness. So would you rather spend an hour doing fitnessy stuff that's good for your longevity or take pills? I mean, I think anybody would say, well, I'd rather be healthy and fit.
Right.
Literally just show up to a local gym and
work out for 12 minutes.
Right. And it has benefits. And if you're out there and you're thinking, I don't know what type of gym to pick, or I don't even know how to look, if you go to like Google Maps and then just type in CrossFit, you're going to see a bunch of them pop up. If you don't know which ones to pick, email me. I will help you, at least from the website. You can figure out like which ones are. So a good something to watch out for is if you see a gym that has like 13 classes and it's all the same coach, that guy's probably going to get burned out. So you want more than one coach, but you also don't want like 2 classes a day and like 57 coaches because they don't get to know you ever, right? So there are things you can look for, like, okay, that's probably not going to be an easy fit. But I think the best one is just to ask the gym, like, what kind of people do you attract? If they say any and everybody, well, it's probably too broad. Like, there's probably a gym that'll fit you.
Right. Close
is good, but having community is better. Yeah. Anyway, any buffalo? Any surprising thing from any of this?
What's been surprising? I guess I didn't really.
That Andrew showed up too.
You know what?
I mean,
that is surprising.
Because he came in and he's like, "This is not for me." I'm like, "Okay, I'm not going to pressure you. I'm glad you're here." He came in all week, and then I saw Andrew and his champion. I'm like, "We have a champion." You're like, "No, that's my Andrew." I'm like, "Oh, he's here."
Yeah,
that is awesome.
Yeah, I am surprised by that.
Yeah, he's doing great. We just back squatted together. He's like,
he's
"Yeah,
doing
I can
awesome."
Do that. Yeah, it's interesting too. Like. I'm a short guy. He is a tall guy. So he's like, in the workout we just did, I was like, what was the harder part? And he's like, the burpees. I'm like, the tire's not too bad. He's like, no, the tire was easy. I'm like, that's crazy. Because I went out there to flip the tire. I'm like, the tire was the hardest part. And the burpees were cake. So like, it just depends on who you are, right?
He loves the tires. That makes him feel like he's really doing CrossFit.
I know, hey, it is. You're flipping
tires.
stuff, yeah. And then was he here when we were doing the cement balls and picking those up?
No,
Did he
I haven't done those either.
Oh, you haven't? So we sprinkled him in there, and enough people were like, hey, it's fun for a little bit, but it hurts they scraped up their arms. I'm like, okay, well, we'll take them back out for a little bit. So yeah, we'll do them and we'll bring them back in. So this week, the surprise thing we have is we've been doing those sprints. So this Thursday is our full-on sprint out the 100 meters day.
Cool.
Which is scary to me because in 15 years of CrossFit, sprinting has hurt more people than anything I've ever seen. It's not that many people. I'd say maybe 5 people, but they're like 1, 2, 3, or 3, 2, 1, go. And someone's like, my leg.
Oh no.
So that's why we've been doing it slow and steady for the last week and a half. so that we can get to Thursday and everyone knows their own body.
Right.
But, okay, so is there any books or podcasts that you like or listen to or you recommend out to people?
I really love the Smart But Scattered.
Oh, write that down. Smart But Scattered?
There's one for kids and one for teens. It's
right.
all about just like getting your executive functioning and getting yourself organized. Because a lot of really, really, really smart people just have a hard time getting all their tasks done from beginning to end. There's like all these systems. It's perfect.
Yes. So that book is speaking my love language right now because so my dad is got some dyslexia, but of course when he grew up, they're just like literally, hey, you idiot, come and do that, right? And then in the 80s, they were still, hey, you idiot, but it came with some more punches. And then so now one of my daughters has the same things. Like we talk, I'm like, I know what you're going through.
Yeah,
I literally went through it. Yeah. And so we went and got her tested because I didn't realize, well, one, I didn't know there was testing. Two, I didn't know there was help. And three, I didn't know the help was so sophisticated, right? So we go into this testing and they do an IQ test to go along with it. So I think like 131 is the highest score. She had like 129.
Wow.
But the dyslexia bits were so low. They're like, wow, I'm surprised she hasn't like come home in tears sooner. But I think it's because she's been coming up with ways to get her smart but scattered, like, how do I bring this together? She's coming up with her own coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
And now that we know there are mechanisms, I'm like, you don't have to create it. Let's just borrow what smart people like yourself to put together. So this book, I will listen to it because I really want to help her. I mean, I hate to admit it because, guys don't cry. No, they do. When they were talking to her about the tests that she went through and what her day is like at school, I'm like, that is me, and I can't believe there's easy solutions. So again, anybody
wish you had them sooner, right?
Yes. Well, and I kind of I wish I had them, but I was more in tears that she has them, right? You want your kids to have, right?
Yeah.
So if you've got those things, you are in this world. Call, get on the schedule, talk, right? Charity knows these things, and she can guide you or your kid through the troubled times. You don't have to be troubled on your own.
Right. It's there to provide support and walk alongside people.
That's right. And that's it. So weirdly, that's exactly what we do here. We have coaches that have gone before, and we're here to provide support. Yes, you could go read the book, or you could have a coach help shortcut and help you along the way.
Yeah. Or navigate that book together.
That's exactly it. Oh, that'd be a good one. Yeah, I should. Yeah. Well, my kids don't really read either. So I don't read. I get them on Audible and I listen to them. I
love Audible.
Yeah. I didn't read books at all until, I still don't read them. I just listen to them. But that's a game changer when they're like, people will read you your book. I'm like, oh, what? Yeah. And I can listen on times
I'm not
too.
sure Smart But Scatter has an audio version. I'm not sure.
I'm going to find it. It'll audio to me. If it doesn't, I'll wait for it. I'll put it on my wish list or something. Okay, if you had that billboard right behind us, we used to have this billboard here and it said CrossFit Garage this way. So if you could rent that billboard over there and put a message to the world, or at least to the people on 92, what message would you give them?
A healthier life this way or something?
Yeah, okay, it doesn't even have to, I like that one. It doesn't have to be about CrossFit. It could be any motto or thing you wish people knew, but I like the health message.
Maybe be awkward, brave, and kind, or something like that.
I like that. Awkward, brave, and kind. There you go. So it's funny how often kind comes up in these messages. I think it's because us here in the gym, happy, humble, helpful, we're on that side of kind.
Yeah.
And we notice it and we wish people and we want people to be more kind, right?
Yeah.
And of course, my jokes, they're certainly awkward. If you've been in class with me, I tell a lot of bad dad jokes.
It's true.
Okay, guys, so if you need help, you've got her website. I'll actually put it in the stuff below, the doodly-doo, the little write-up. I'll put the book in there too. If you're interested in a gym, CrossFit Garage is here in Woodstock, Georgia. I know some of you guys are listening all over the world. There's probably a gym very much like ours out there, and I'm happy to help you find them. There are people like Charity that are out there also just needing help or guidance in whether it's health or fitness or walking down the roads of smart but scattered. Find that help. Talk to that person. If this message resonates with you or somebody else that you know, send it to them. And I am happy to talk to somebody if they need help. On our website, my phone number is actually on there, so it's actually my phone number, which can be dangerous, but call me, text me, whatever. Actually, text me, because if you call me and I don't know your number, I probably won't pick it up.
Oh, no.
But if you email me, it's andy@crossfitgarage.com, and I'm happy to talk. And Yeah, so this has been great. I love having you here. I love having Andrew here. I love that you guys smile when we walk in. I'm like, oh, fun people, right? It's neat to have people that you really like enjoy being around, and you work out with them and you sweat. Yeah. Oh, very good. All right, guys.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next time.